Meghan's become a real nuisance around here. I've personally seen her drones drifting onto my property, constant, intrusive, and frankly unacceptable. Montecito officials have received multiple complaints from residents. It's clear she won't be staying much longer.
Montecito was supposed to be the escape, the quiet dream, the sun-washed sanctuary where the powerful hide behind hedges, sip their green juice, and agree on one unspoken rule: mind your business and protect everyone else's. Privacy isn't just respected there, it's worshipped. That's why what's been bubbling beneath the surface feels so explosive, because when a place like Montecito turns against you, it's never loud at first. It starts with whispers, tight smiles, closed gates, and then suddenly those whispers turn into accusations that refuse to stay buried. And right at the center of it all sits Meghan Markle. For years, the narrative was simple. The Duchess arrived as a woman who had fled intrusion, chased across continents by cameras and cruelty, desperate for peace. When she and Prince Harry bought their sprawling estate for more than $14 million, neighbors reportedly expected curiosity, maybe a little starstruck excitement, but ultimately harmony. After all, Montecito is used to royalty of another kind. Movie stars, moguls, icons who know how to blend in. Fame doesn't buy entitlement there. It buys silence, as long as you earn it. But according to what's now pouring out of the community, that silence cracked. The tone shifted slowly at first. Security vans blocking roads, paths closed without warning, locals feeling like guests in their own neighborhood. Some brushed it off as overprotection. Understandable given Harry and Meghan's history. But irritation hardened when residents began noticing something else. A soundless hum overhead. A shadow gliding across backyards. Drones. Not paparazzi drones, not media. Drones allegedly linked back to the Sussex estate. That's when the name Rob Lowe enters the story, not as a gossip footnote, but as a catalyst. Lowe isn't just another celebrity homeowner. He's woven into Montecito's fabric, someone who's lived there for decades, someone people trust to speak for the community without theatrics. And when word spread that he had finally had enough, people listened. Privately at first, then less so, Lowe reportedly began describing what he saw as a pattern. Drones hovering, filming without permission, incursions that crossed an invisible but sacred line. One account paints a vivid scene, a family gathering, laughter, food, kids splashing in a pool, and above it all, a drone lingering just long enough to make everyone uneasy. Not an accident, not a one-off. Constant, intrusive, unacceptable. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. The couple who had fled Britain over media intrusion now accused of replicating it, only this time from the sky. And this wasn't just about Rob Lowe. Once the dam broke, others stepped forward. Neighbors who had swallowed their frustration for years began sharing stories that, taken together, painted an uncomfortable picture. A veteran in his late 80s turned away at the gates when trying to deliver a welcome gift. Journalists living nearby describing Meghan as practically invisible, disengaged, uninterested in the very community she lived in. Joggers rerouted, cyclists stalled, paths blocked like inconvenience was collateral damage. What stung wasn't just the behavior, it was the attitude neighbors say came with it. Coldness, legal threats, a sense that anyone questioning boundaries was the problem. Some allege cease and desist letters over minor complaints. Others speak of security lights blazing into bedrooms at night, of attempts to address it being met with hostility instead of cooperation. The word that kept surfacing again and again was bullying. In Montecito, that's a dangerous accusation. This is a place that thrives on mutual respect. No one is supposed to loom larger than the community itself. But residents began to feel watched, paranoid, like their privacy had become content. Rumors swirled that the footage wasn't random, that it was meant for projects, B-roll, future ventures. Names like Gwyneth Paltrow and Tyler Perry were whispered not as conspirators, but as potential unwilling subjects. Unpaid extras in someone else's carefully curated story. And legally, that's where things get messy fast. California's anti-paparazzi laws exist for a reason. Drone regulations are strict. Private airspace isn't a playground even for the powerful. Complaints reportedly flooded in. Not one or two, but enough to raise eyebrows. Enough to trigger reviews. Enough to involve authorities who don't care about royal titles when the rules are broken. Behind closed doors, meetings were held. Evidence presented. Warnings issued. The situation escalated from annoyance to official concern. And then came the word no one expected to hear associated with a $14 million estate in one of America's wealthiest enclaves. Eviction. Rare doesn't even begin to cover it. Sources claim formal notices were served. Mediation attempts failed. failed. Months of back and forth went nowhere. What started as neighborly complaints hardened into its collective demand for action. Rob Lowe's involvement gave the movement credibility, transforming it from gossip into something far more serious. This wasn't about jealousy or star power, it was about boundaries. And the fallout? It's brutal. For Meghan, this isn't just a neighborhood dispute. It strikes at the core of her reinvention narrative. The woman who framed herself as a champion of empathy now facing accusations of intimidation. The advocate for kindness painted as domineering behind closed gates. The optics alone are devastating. Prince Harry doesn't escape unscathed either. Whispers suggest he knew, that he supported the drone usage as part of their media strategy. Whether true or not, the perception alone chips away at the image of the conflicted prince searching for peace. Instead, critics see a couple trapped in contradiction, fleeing intrusion while allegedly inflicting it. Financial pressure only adds fuel to the fire. Relocation would be costly. Property values wobble when controversy clings. And with their media empire already under strain, this could not come at a worse time. Spotify is gone. Netflix is reportedly on borrowed time. Deals once hyped as nine-figure lifelines are now whispered to be far smaller, far shakier. Hollywood, notoriously unforgiving, doesn't love drama that doesn't perform. Even Arkewell, their philanthropic crown jewel, risks reputational damage if bullying claims continue to snowball. Donors don't like controversy, partners don't like risk, and tabloids, both American and British, are feasting. What's perhaps most striking is the silence. No fiery denials, no polished statements, no strategic leaks pushing back. For a couple once known for controlling the narrative, the quiet feels deafening. Is it calculation, legal advice, or something deeper, something harder to spin? Meanwhile, Montecito exhales, not with glee, but relief. Residents speak not of victory, but of wanting their peace back, the serenity they paid for, the unspoken agreement restored. Even Rob Lowe, by some accounts, isn't celebrating. He's simply done. As speculation swirls about potential moves, Malibu, Europe, somewhere even more secluded, one question lingers like fog over the hills. Can someone truly chase privacy while living in the glare of fame? Or does the pursuit itself inevitably consume the very peace it seeks? Montecito's saga may soon reach its legal conclusion, but its lesson is already written in bold. Even paradise has limits. Push too far, and the gates close. And as moving trucks loom in imagination, if not yet in reality, the world watches, waiting to see whether this chapter marks an ending or just another dramatic pivot in an already turbulent exile. And that's where the tension truly sharpens, because what's unfolding now isn't just about drones, neighbors, or Montecito bylaws. It's about identity, about control, about a couple who try to outrun one narrative only to find themselves trapped inside another, louder one. Behind those tall hedges and security gates, sources say the atmosphere has shifted from confident defiance to quiet calculation. Advisors are allegedly on speed dial. Lawyers combing through ordinances line by line. PR consultants weighing every possible move and realizing painfully that there may be no clean win here. Deny too aggressively and you look guilty. Stay silent too long and the story writes itself. And right now, the story being written is not kind. Neighbors describe an estate that feels frozen in time. Fewer visible staff, fewer comings and goings, no friendly waves, no gestures toward reconciliation, just stillness. The kind of stillness that follows a storm when everyone is assessing damage. Some claim Meghan has doubled down on isolation, convinced that engagement would only fuel the fire. Others whisper that the pressure has finally cracked the illusion of control, exposing how fragile their Montecito chapter really was. What stings for many locals is the sense of betrayal. Montecito doesn't punish fame, it protects it. Oprah lives there, Ellen lives there. Powerhouses who understand the rules. Blend in, be respectful, don't dominate. And if you break those rules, don't act shocked when the community pushes back. To longtime residents, this wasn't about jealousy or resentment. It was about survival of a way of life. And then there's the emotional undercurrent people don't talk about enough. Fear. Several residents have described feeling watched, uneasy in their own gardens, scanning the sky during private moments. That kind of anxiety erodes trust fast. It turns neighbors into witnesses, conversations into evidence. Every interaction becomes loaded, and once that happens, there's no easy way back. Critics online have seized on the irony with almost gleeful intensity. Memes, think pieces, endless commentary about karma and hypocrisy flood social media. The woman who spoke so eloquently about mental health now accused of causing distress. The couple who sued over privacy now allegedly violating it. Fair or not, perception is ruthless, and perception is winning. Meanwhile, Prince Harry's role has become an uncomfortable subplot. Some insiders suggest he's torn, caught between loyalty to his wife and growing awareness that their approach may have alienated everyone around them. Others claim he's fully aligned, viewing the backlash as yet another example of people turning against them unfairly. Either way, the cracks are showing, and when a couple's unity becomes a question mark, the public leans in even closer. Financial reality lurks in the background like a ticking clock. Montecito was more than a home. It was a symbol, proof that they had made it, that the American dream was real. Losing it or being forced out under a cloud of controversy would be more than inconvenient. It would be humiliating, and Hollywood remembers humiliation far longer than it remembers reinvention. Executives are reportedly already wary. No one wants to attach their brand to chaos. No one wants to gamble on personalities who bring baggage this heavy. The eviction whispers, whether they culminate in an actual move or not, reinforce a narrative of instability. And instability is poison in an industry obsessed with predictability. Yet there's another layer here that refuses to go away. Meghan's supporters argue fiercely that this is all exaggerated, weaponized gossip fueled by resentment and sexism. They insist the couple are being punished for protecting themselves, for refusing to play nice with the community that never truly accepted them. They question why similar behavior by other celebrities never sparks outrage. And those questions hang in the air, unanswered, complicating an already tangled story. Still, Montecito officials aren't guided by hashtags or fandoms. They're guided by complaints, evidence, and pressure from residents who vote, donate, and influence. And that's what makes this moment so precarious. This isn't a tabloid trial, it's a local reckoning. As days pass with no official statement, speculation fills the void. Is a move already being planned quietly? Are scouts looking elsewhere? Is this silence strategic, hoping the news cycle will tire and drift? Or is it paralysis, the realization that every option comes with loss? For neighbors, the hope is simple. Quiet skies, open paths, normalcy restored. For Meghan and Harry, the stakes are existential. This isn't just about where they live, it's about whether their post-royal identity can survive another scandal that frames them not as victims, but as aggressors. And so the Montecito Hills wait. The estate remains, for now, behind its gates. The drones allegedly grounded, the whispers louder than ever, and the world watches, knowing one thing for certain: when silence replaces spin, something is changing. Whether this becomes a turning point, a retreat, or just another chapter in a saga defined by conflict remains to be seen. But whatever happens next, the illusion of untouched paradise is already gone. Paradise is already gone. Paradise is already gone. Paradise.